Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Can Mayonnaise Kill a Jedi podcast. I am your host, the Artificial Dragon.
I am your co-host, Darth Salim. And
happy May 4th, everybody, or at least
May the 4th be with you.
Or at least the day that we're recording right now. We're pretty much talking to ourselves in the past right now, but yes, today, recording day, is May the 4th be with you. Unfortunately, there's no Star Wars Celebration this year. I unfortunately had to find that out a couple days beforehand, so no live stream, unfortunately, but Fortunately, the Age of the Empire and I believe Star Wars Acolyte released their
Tales of the Empire.
Tales of the Empire released their 2-episode premieres, so I'm looking forward to watching that right after this podcast.
I might watch it tonight if I can't sleep, because mainly I might be streaming SWTOR tonight on the Discord server. But
That'll be nice. That'll be nice, Anna.
Yeah.
But happy May the 4th, everybody. God, it feels like we've been on this podcast forever, because I think this is like, because I remember last year we did a Shocked Tea episode, and that felt like forever ago.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah. Welcome to the 63rd episode of a podcast, everybody. I know I said that last episode, but I got the numbers wrong. But this is the true 63rd episode of a podcast.
Okay.
But so a couple of things to get out of the way before we get into the meat of this episode. As per usual, the Discord is open for everybody who is interested in joining our community, where you could talk general Star Wars lore, share memes, or just have a nice time with me, Hannah, and the rest of the gang. We always appreciate new people joining. Yeah, it's been a good amount of fun down there. Like, we just talked recently about all the, Oh yeah, another thing. I will be finally uploading the final episodes of the Star Wars Alternate Iego arc, and I released the 10th episode a couple days ago.
Yay!
Yeah, that's a very fun one where you finally get reunited with your husband. Spoilers.
But holy crap! I couldn't sit through that episode very long because I was getting irritated. And you know whose behavior.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
So, yeah. If you get irritated easily, maybe skip a few parts.
Yeah, that's fair. I am both looking forward and not looking forward to editing the rest of the episodes, because I recently listened to the final boss fight episode with a Queen Mother, and there are some not so NSFW stuff that is said throughout that entire episode.
NSFW stuff.
Yeah, plenty
of it.
We gotta
censor that before it gets uploaded.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing with the guidelines on YouTube and everything. But it'll be a very lengthy process, let me tell you that. Oh god, I'm not looking forward to, I believe, the next episode where we have an entire session where where we yell at each other. You remember that one, Hannah? Where you guys try to contact the Jedi Council?
Oh, right. That's not gonna be fun.
No, it is not. I'm just gonna do a jump cut, and you eventually just contact Plo Koon.
Just add in yellow text as to what happened.
just technical difficulties, and bam, Plo Koon. You got Plo Koon now. You happy?
Anyway, moving on to the actual episode.
So of course we have our Patreon at patreon.com/canmail. Once again, that's patreon.com/canmail, where you can contribute to any amount, the highest being $2 and the lowest being $2 and the highest being $10. Of course, everybody has access to the Discord server, but for The second and the third tiers, you guys will have exclusive rights to future episodes. Like the previous one was the Dark Trooper episode, and we are currently in votes for a future Patreon episode. And if you want us to cover a certain topic, character, or something from Star Wars that you have a huge passion for, we would appreciate it if you contributed. Also, Patreon art piece, currently in the works, but I'm looking forward to the final product.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it too.
Yeah. It's gonna be a doozy, that's for sure, Hannah. And a step up from our usual Patreon art piece qualities.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, just a little shout out for all of our highest tier patrons. We have Y Wolves, Cameron Lee, Dr. Emboss, Gomez, Tristan H., and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for supporting our podcast for the past couple of years, and I'm looking forward to future shenanigans that we get up to for this lovely community we have in the making.
Yep.
Also, support Hannah's blog.
Yep, support my blog.
Yeah, you uploaded.
I'm trying to get back into the groove of things with that.
Yeah, I know how that feels, especially with writing.
Mm-hmm.
I continuously face writing blocks, but it helps to take a break every once in a while. But you uploaded something recently, didn't you?
I uploaded a post for May the 4th, but that's it.
Gotcha. All right. So with that out of the way, Hannah, you already know what today's episode is going to be about.
Space IRS.
Yay! Or more specifically, the Intergalactic Banking Clan, aka, like Hannah said before, Space IRS. Yay!
Yep.
Yeah, like you talked about in the previous episode, it would be fun to dive more into the politics of Star Wars, which is where the prequel stands out the most compared to the original trilogy, and ironically enough, the sequel trilogy as well.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta love that extra world building that the prequels offered to Star Wars lore in general, which I always love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also what makes things especially interesting in our Star Wars alternate campaign. With all the political intrigue that goes on with Iego and Baldemnig in general.
And on Mandalore.
Yeah, especially when you had to pick which trade partner you want to ally with.
I don't know if that got uploaded. I think that was like right at the end of the Baldemnig arc.
Yeah, I still need to upload the courtroom drama episode.
Rainy.
Yeah, I have that recording somewhere. I remember listening to it, but I should upload that one.
I think if the fans want to hear it, I definitely want to hear it again. I think it should get uploaded.
Yeah, courtroom drama is always fun. Ironically enough, in D&D as well.
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
I got a guest in my room.
Yeah. So okay, before we ramble on about more D&D shit, let's get back into the banking clan. So before I go into this, Hannah, what do you know exactly about the banking clan?
I do know that Clovis is a part of the banking clan, or at least a representative.
Yeah, Rush Clovis, the former love interest of Padme, yeah.
Yes. And Plagueis was head of the banking clan?
He's not okay, it's a little bit complicated, but he is the head of a branch of the banking clan, if that makes any sense.
Oh, okay.
But yes, he is part of the banking clan.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, the Intergalactic Banking Clan, it is also abbreviated by two different names, which is the IBC or the IGBC. We're just going to call it the IBC for simplicity's sake.
Mm-hmm.
But it also goes by several other names, such as the Intergalactic Bank Clan, the Galactic Banking Clan, or the IG Banking Clan.
Nice.
Yeah. So the banking clan, we I talked a little bit about the banking clan in the Baldemnik arc of our Star Wars alternate campaign, where they basically had control of Cortos's deposits on Baldemnik.
Hmm.
And you guys had to, you weren't part of that session, were you?
I can't remember.
No, I remember because that's when the other Hannah introduced her character and they had to infiltrate the banking clan facility.
Oh, right. I was sick that day.
Yeah. So long story short, the banking clan, it's known as one of the Republic's most powerful and influential commerce guilds. It was founded by the Munes, which are the big-headed fuckers.
Yep.
More specifically, it was founded by the Council of Banking Clans on the planet of Munilist, and it is most likely a reference to its extragalactic influence as it has assets as far as halfway between the galaxy and its nearest satellite galaxy.
Hmm.
So they have deep pockets, Hannah. They have assets on nearly every planet in the galaxy.
Hmm.
But yeah, so the banking clan is one of the numerous I wouldn't say corporations, it's basically a corporation, but it's much more than that. It's one of the many factions that joined the Separatist Alliance alongside the Trade Federation, Techno Union, and all those other corporations.
Yep.
And here's even though the banking clan has deep roots, ironically enough, it has less lore than the Trade Federation, I've come to found.
Surprising.
It is very surprising because the banking clan is as old as the Republic itself.
Okay.
So it's been around for a long time, since the founding of civilization and memorial, basically.
Hmm.
And the banking clan is the so the banking clan plays a huge part in the founding of a republic, where it invented the modern day currency, which is the republic credit.
Okay.
And it would help create other credits. Like eventually, it would it would make the foundations for the separatist credit, and eventually the Galactic Empire credit.
Hmm.
But let's go ahead and go to the beginning of the banking clan. So the banking clan, much of its founding history, as with most things in Star Wars, is kind of a mystery. But it was founded to fund governments, support settlements, and bankroll countless commerce guilds, trade corporations, and shipping cartels. Like I said before, it's basically a bank. They lend out loans, they give finances to startup companies, that sort of thing. And the banking clan would be a major power backing the Republic for a majority of its history via the Bank of Aragao, which is basically think of the banks in Switzerland.
Okay.
And because of the banking clan having possession of the Bank of Aragao, it is basically the main backer of the Republic Credit, which it founded. But it has, let's see, words. So essentially, the banking clan, even though it sounds like it's a singular entity, it's more of an umbrella term, and there are numerous other clans that specialize in banking, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
Like we have numerous banks that have their own subsidiaries and branches and all that stuff. That's basically what a banking clan is.
Okay.
But it's ruled mainly by the Munes, if it wasn't very, very apparent. But okay, we'll eventually do an episode on the Munes because they are super duper important. But think of each Mune as a banker. They could pursue other things in life, like a lawyer or anything like that, but mostly they are raised up to take up a position in the banking clan, and each Mune has a massive amount of influence and power within the banking clan because it helped found numerous governments, the biggest of which is obviously the Galactic Republic.
Mhm.
But yeah, like there are numerous positions of the hierarchy of the banking clan. Like there's the Munilist High Officer who basically looks over all of Munilist. The administrator to the treasure world of Maigito. If you don't recall, Maigito is the ice planet that Chaotic Mundi gets killed off in Revenge of a Sith.
I've heard it
Yeah.
mentioned before.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the director of a treasury branch and the vice chair of communications. And finally, at the very top is the chairman, which, if you recall, is Sand Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And, but the main governmental body of a banking clan is what is called the Core Five, otherwise known as the Council of Five. And they're basically like the board of directors that you see in every other company.
Okay.
And, but let me see. And there are like several other subsidiaries under the banking clan because, you know, they finance the crap out of them, such as the Corellian Chemical Corporation, Dynamic Synergics Corporation, Rylov Vent, Cetrian Corporation, and Sianar Fleet Systems. And if the name doesn't sound familiar, Sianar is the company that created a majority of the Empire's starfighters, such as the TIE Fighter.
Okay.
So yeah, the banking clan, it has deep pockets with every corporation in the galaxy, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the banking clan is purely a banking company, it has its investments and not just singular people or small companies like you would in the modern world. They have investments in entire governments and planets, which is kind of insane to think about.
Yeah.
Like, I remember there's a story where a bunch of human colonists who are super racist towards aliens wanted to found a colony in the Outer Rim, but they didn't exactly have the resources to do it, so they were kind of forced to go up to the banking clan and ask for a loan from a bunch of aliens.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's just a good example of how influential and powerful the banking clan is, where they just provide loans to pretty much everybody, even for people who are xenophobic towards aliens.
Well, xenophobia is a major thing in Star Wars as a whole, so
Yeah,
makes
that it
sense.
is. But unfortunately, those big-headed aliens are dangling the dollar bill in front of you, so you're kind of forced to take it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and in some cases, these entire planets and governments, if they weren't unable to, you know, give up their debts or interest that they are supposed to pay back the banking clan, there is a probable chance that those governments would fight back. And the big
Collectors, I know all about
yeah.
those.
Debt
Fucking medical
collectors.
bills.
Yeah, especially with paying taxes like a couple months. No, last month. Yeah, that was it. The tax
It's not
period.
with paying taxes, it's medical bills.
Oh yes, the debt collectors come in, but one trying to send a singular debt collector to essentially an entire planetary government and ask them to give up their finances, you're not going to do anything. Which is where the banking clan's covert military comes in, and yes, it does have a security force.
Okay.
And this security force is called the Collections and Security Division. Like I mentioned before, it's basically the banking clan's own private military force, which is consistent of mainly battle droids.
Mm-hmm.
And it does have some organic forces, but it mainly has Munes as the officers because they rarely trust anybody else to do the job for them.
Racist. Cool.
Yay! They're the Munes are kind of hoity-toity douchebags because they're the lawyers, they're the bankers, they're the financiers. They think they're smarter than everybody else, and from a certain point of view, they kind of are. But yeah, they're kind of racist.
Kind of.
Okay, kind of is an understatement, but they do employ some organic soldiers, such as what is called the Itarian Guard. And it's kind of, there's not too much lore on these guys, but think of them, they're kind of like a bunch of Klingons. They're basically an elite warrior race.
Okay.
I put them in the chat for you
I
to look
see
at.
it.
Yeah. But yeah, these guys have been guarding the Munes for centuries, since the founding of the Banking Clan itself. So they have a close relationship with these guys, at least.
Okay.
And if you also recall from a episode on a certain Kalish warlord, Grievous briefly served as an agent of the Banking Clan.
I'd have to actually go look and see if it does show up, but you have a better memory than I do.
Okay, I'll think of Grievous as basically serving the role as the collector from Mortal Kombat.
Damn.
Yeah, he was quote unquote a collections agent, but in reality he's just a warlord for hire, and he would lead the Banking Clan's droid armies to repossess worlds and all that fancy schmancy stuff. Which is really scary to think about when you consider that Grievous nearly toppled an entire civilization with just his primitive warriors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Grievous was affiliated with the Banking Clan at one point in his life, before he became a cyborg anyway. But among the Collections and Security Division, they would employ a unique unit of battle droid called the IG series droids. And let me go ahead and briefly put them in the chat for you. They also do appear in the Micro series of the Clone Wars.
The black IG droids?
Yeah.
The fucking shoulder things are really weird looking, and it's got a land. It looks like the Star Wars version of the Black Knight from fucking Monty Python.
Yeah, it kind of does. This specific model is called the IG Lancer combat droid, and it's obviously used for cavalry strikes and everything. But I believe they could use blaster rifles as well. That's just the main selling point of the Lancer droid.
Mm-hmm.
And these would be famously used by Dirge in the Micro series.
Cool.
And aside from the Lancer droid, they would also utilize the IG-100 Magna Guards, who were specifically designed as bodyguards for Grievous.
Okay.
And another famous droid used by the Banking Clan is what is called the Hailfire droid. Just putting it in the chat real quickly. There we go.
That is a very interesting design.
Yeah, I know it's been a while since you watched Attack of the Clones, but they obviously appear in there. And their main selling points is that they carry a shit ton of missiles, and they could easily destroy ATTE walkers with a singular missile.
Cool.
And do keep in mind, these things were originally used to reclaim debts from entire worlds.
Damn.
Yeah, these things are classified as anti-air and anti-armor droids. That's like the equivalent of bringing a rocket launcher to tell people, hey, give up your finances or else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of how metal and how serious the Banking Clan is with reclaiming their interests and debts.
Okay.
It's almost like if I know we called the Banking Clan
the IRS.
Space IRS, but IRS in reality ain't got shit on the banking clan. It's like if the IRS had the entirety of the American Navy at their beck and call.
No, the IRS just makes you sit on the phone for over 3 fucking hours just to talk somebody.
Oh boy, the true torture. At that point, I'd ask for a Hellfire droid to fire a missile at my location and end my misery.
Yeah, my poor mother, she's an accountant, and so she has to talk to the IRS.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Not fun.
But aside from their own personal army, they also have their own navy.
Nice.
And one of the main ships that the banking clan uses is what is called the Munificent Class Star Frigate. And I gotta say, I really love a lot of the designs for the Confederacy Navy, especially with the Munificent.
Oh, so that's what they're called.
Yep, the Munificent Class Frigate.
Okay.
Yeah, originally these things were meant to serve as mobile private secure network ships,
Mhm.
as well as basically used to harass entire worlds heavily in debt, transfer key financial assets, and guard treasure vaults. But yeah,
Cool.
they packing some heat. They are packing heat for sure.
It looks
But
like it.
but fortunately, they do have a bunch of luxury transports. Specifically, these guys, which are called the BC 714 luxury transports. And I gotta say, they kind of remind me of space age rockets back in the 60s.
They do look very early sci-fi.
Yeah, they look cool.
They do.
Yeah. These ships were designed by the Techno Union, but they are so commonly used by the Banking Clan that most people just call them the Banking Clan luxury transport.
Cool.
They are known as one of the fastest and most comfortable transports in the galaxy, as they are all equipped with a Class 1 hyperdrive. I know we haven't discussed hyperdrives that much, but think of if there is a Class 1 hyperdrive, that's basically top of the line because it's superior to a Class 2 and 3.
Mhm.
And also for perspective, the Millennium Falcon has a Class .5 hyperdrive.
Cool.
Yeah, so it ain't got shit on the Millennium Falcon, but it's still pretty fast.
Mhm.
It's also so luxurious that most passengers that took on a trip would openly despise other transports that they would travel on because it doesn't even compare to this thing.
Mhm.
They think of them almost as luxury yachts and cruise ships rolled into one, as they offered numerous amenities such as luxurious staterooms, a 20-seat holo theater, and a dining room that rivaled the finest restaurants on Munilis.
Okay.
And these things are usually a common status symbol for the Munes, like I mentioned before. But yeah, aside from its, that's basically its military and some of its transports, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about its history and why it plays such an important role in the Clone Wars and beyond.
Okay.
As you mentioned before, Darth Plagueis is a very apparent member of a banking clan under his public identity known as Hugo Damask.
Yep.
And Hugo Damask is actually the founder of his own financial group under the banking clan called the Damask Holdings.
Okay.
But yeah, the banking clan, it would remain a powerful presence within the Outer Rim and a majority of the galaxy for its history. And it was even considered more trustworthy than other banks in the core world's region. And Because of this, it was considered a very important part of a grand plan of a Civ by Darth Plagueis. Like Plagueis, he would secretly use funds of a banking clan to finance much of the elements of a grand plan, such as financing the creation of a clone army on Camino.
Oh, so he did that.
Yep, it was technically the banking clan that ensured the creation of a clone army.
The whole and Dooku.
Well, yeah, and Dooku and Sifo Dyas, the very important part of the plan.
Yeah.
But aside from the clone army, they also finance many arms manufacturers to develop a alternative economy, which would be depended very closely by the future Confederacy of Independent Systems. So essentially, the banking clan and Hugo Damask as a whole is responsible for the creation of numerous corporations, or at least a nice little pile of cash for the megacorps, like the Trade Federation, the Techno Union, all of those kind of guys.
Mm-hmm.
And Darth Plagueis would even groom his close friend's son, Sandhill, to eventually take up the position of a chairman.
Because of course he did.
Yeah.
He's a schemer just like Palpatine is.
Yeah, Palpatine definitely learned from the best. But yeah, he's just kind of slowly pushing the pieces into place, financing the clone army, ensuring an alternative economy in the Outer Rim for the founding of the CIS, and ensuring that he had his own little puppet as head of a banking clan. So yeah, banking clan, super duper important for the grand plans of a Sith.
Mm-hmm.
But come the Separatist crisis, this is where the banking clan would gain the most prosperity in a long time. There was a couple of notable incidents that I find pretty interesting. The data servers of the IGBC would have a lot of separatist propaganda spread to its clients. And a lot of people were all like, what the heck is going on? Is there some sort of security breach or something like that? Because technically the banking clan is a republic of affiliated company. But the banking clan was like, oh no, our servers are perfectly secure, but they comment no further on the propaganda.
Typical politicians.
Typical politicians. It's false news, everybody. It's false news. But let's see. And during that time, the IGBC would experience its 18th straight quarter with increasing profits, as it is, quote, creating new currencies at a rate of 20 per day.
Damn.
So yeah, the Separatist crisis, a very productive time for the banking clan, as they would also lend a lot of credits and loans to many worlds that wanted to secede from the Republic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, create a nice little foundation to jumpstart them and eventually join the Confederacy of Independent Systems. Palpatine himself secretly opened numerous accounts, which he filled with planetary level funding, which is in like the millions to billions of credits, by the way.
Okay.
And this would be made for further use, tax-free and account-free, and allow companies under the banking clan to profit off of it, gaining additional support to Palpatine from the banking clan because, you know, he was seen as a very swell guy.
Mm-hmm.
And a journalist would find out about this act of corruption, basically, but he was unable to publish his findings, most likely because he was censored by Palpatine.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. Like, a majority of the Senate saw Palpatine as this popular chancellor who didn't give in to corruption or anything like that, but on the down low, he did some very corrupt bullshit behind the scenes.
Gee, no fucking shit. Anyone with power can and will do that.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate truth. Though, despite the banking clan having a lot of productivity, it also gained a lot of controversy after one of their bulk freighters was found and detained by Republic forces, and the ship just happened to have 150 Hailfire droids.
Mm-hmm.
And this shipment of droids was meant to be gone to the world of Prestaline, basically a loyalist world of the separatists that recently seceded from the Republic. So this raised a lot of suspicions where people were like, hey, Banking Clan, are you secretly supplying weapons to the separatists? What the hell is going on here? And basically, the spokesman of the Banking Clan denied any wrongdoing, claiming the Hailfire droids were stolen military weapons. So yeah,
and they're to lie about it.
Yeah, they're lying to their teeth about it. But as things go in Star Wars, eventually the curtain is unraveled and all of that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And this would culminate in Chairman Sandhill pledging the Banking Clan's securities and security division to the separatist droid army in what is called a non-exclusive pact.
Okay.
So, okay, I had to do a quick Google search for this, and basically a non-exclusive pact means that they are free to contract with other parties. So it's the opposite of an exclusive pact. Like, hey, you guys can have elements of our army, but don't get mad at us if we decide to share this army with other parties, like the Republic, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's their way of showing, hey, Republic, see, we're not completely on the side of the separatists. We're being neutral in this. We're just supplying them with a couple of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they are profiting from both sides of a war. Even though it was very clear that the Banking Clan was dealing with the enemy, it would be tolerated by the Republic because, well, when you have something as powerful as the Banking Clan, who literally created the foundations of a Republic credit, getting rid of them is going to cause more problems than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's that classic scenario. Like, all right, Banking Clan, you're out of the Republic. You do realize that we literally back the Republic credit. We could easily make it near worthless if we really wanted to. Did I say get out of the Republic? I mean, come back in the Republic.
Yeah, they realized, oh, we're fucked if we don't have funding. Okay, never mind. Turn a blind eye.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you remember watching a couple of episodes where the Senate is going through numerous political debates about deregulating the banks and getting more clone troopers and all that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of political bullshit behind the scenes, but the Banking Clan, it's a necessity, so they gotta stick around regardless if everybody likes it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But, let me see, Well, during the Clone Wars, the Banking Clan was basically at the verge of bankruptcy when it became apparent that there was corruption within the Core 5. And the Separatists weren't paying back their interests or loans.
Okay.
And
I've had to do loans before.
yeah, I know. It's big words and a majority of things that our audience doesn't know about, but big words. Just
wait until you're adults.
I know. It's complicated, but this is Star Wars, so I'm going to do the best I can to explain. But anyway, basically, since the Banking Clan is giving out so many loans to both sides of a war, and since the Separatists aren't paying back their interests, the Banking Clan is kind of turning kind of ignoring this and keeping the money for themselves, but that risks bankruptcy of the banks and everything, and no banks means no credits for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And this pretty much caused an investigation and a temporary truce between both the Republic and the Confederacy to basically get the banking clan shit back together before they resume the war. But in this arc, it's basically an arc of the Clone Wars. Rush Clovis plays a huge role in this investigation, and he actually he becomes the head of a banking clan briefly.
Okay.
But unfortunately, he was placed there because Count Dooku gave him the right connections, and Count Dooku kind of threatened him. Hey, either levy new taxes and debts against the Republic, or the Separatists can't afford to pay our loans to the banking clan, which would cause the bankruptcy to happen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And since Rush Clovis was kind of forced to do this, this firmly placed the Separatists, the banking clan, into Separatist occupation, and thus forcing the Republic to invade the homeworld of the banking clan, which is Scipio, and firmly place the banks under control of the office of the Supreme Chancellor.
Okay.
So yeah, this was basically a intricate power move for Supreme Chancellor Palpatine to get his hands on the banking clan and access to both political influence and a shit ton of finances.
Financial.
Yeah, so he's secure in the financial department at least.
Mm-hmm.
But even though the banking clan was basically nationalized by the Republic, there were some elements that are still under control of the current chairman, which is Sand Hill, and he's still loyal to the Separatists.
Okay.
So, long story short, Mike Gito is one of the more important treasure worlds of the banking clan. That's basically, it's so wealthy that it basically rivals the capital of Coruscant in terms of wealth.
Damn.
So yeah, it was very, very important for the Republic to take. And I think the Republic and the Separatists fought over Megiddo for the entirety of the war.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, that would be the famous site where Ki-Adi-Mundi gets gunned down by his own clone troopers.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, of course, we know the rest. Sand Hill, along with the rest of the Separatist Council, gets killed by Darth Vader. Fortunately, though, unlike the rest of its fellow megacorporations, the banking clan would actually remain in power. It would not be imperialized by the Empire.
Okay.
Mostly, it was left in place out of pure necessity, because the Empire kind of feared what a future for the galaxy would look like if it came to galactic succession. Like, think of the Great Depression, but on a galaxy-wide scale.
Oof.
Yeah, the Empire, as evil as it is, it doesn't want that to happen.
Yeah.
It wants economic growth. So they allowed the banking clan to stay in power as it is, but with heavy scrutiny.
Well, of course.
Well, of course. But yeah, the banking clan would actually remain intact for the majority of the galaxy's history. And it would actually not ally with Rebel Alliance. It would actually stay loyal to the Empire. That was until the founding of the New Republic, and it would be like, oh, hey, we got a new power in play here. Okay, we'll help you create a new currency, which is the New Republic credit. But Empire, even though you are fragmented and are basically a remnant faction, will also back the Imperial credit for you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the banking clan still going strong in the history of the Star Wars galaxy, as most banks do in history. But yeah, that's pretty much the history of the banking clan.
Wow, that was shorter than I thought.
Yeah, like I said, it doesn't have as much deep lore as the Trade Federation, ironically, since it's older than the Trade Federation, but I think this was a nice topic to cover because just the pure fact that they're so important that bare that they are essentially necessary for the continued economic growth of the galaxy.
Yeah,
But yeah, did you have any more questions for me, Hannah?
not really.
But now you know how important the banking clan is in the grander picture of the Star Wars galaxy, at least.
Yes.
I know I didn't mention this in my notes, but I believe the banking clan was mentioned a couple of times in SWTOR.
Probably, I've been playing on the, expansion, so they don't really mention that,
Yeah.
so
But yeah, I think it's also nice that the banking clan gets mentioned every once in a while. I think there was also a small story where a member of the Brotherhood of Darkness basically embezzled the Brotherhood of Darkness and kept the credits for themselves that was loaned out to them by the banking clan.
mhm.
I think that's kind of a funny story, but uh yeah, I wish there was more lore put into the banking clan because they are old. They don't even have a logo, unlike the Trade Federation or other megacores.
That's surprising that they don't even have a logo.
But I think we'll probably get more details when I cover the Munes. But yeah, that'll probably be a long way before we get to that. But yeah, I really wish I had more to say. Oh yeah. Here's a funny quote that I remember at the top of my head about the banking clan. So it's a quote exchange between two members of a Jedi High Council. And it's basically along the lines of, oh, the separatists have a banking clan? Well, at least they won't have any money issues. And the other member of the Jedi Council was like, except for greed.
Mhm.
Which is very, very accurate considering what does eventually happen to the banking clan.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is basically our episode of Can Mayonnaise Kill a Jedi? Or in this case, here, take our money, please leave us alone, don't blow me up.
They're just like the Nemoidians.
Yeah, except at least it's anticipated with the Nemodians, because it's kind of predictable that they're going to be greedy scumbags.
Mhm.
But with the Munes, they're more cunning than that, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this brief little talk about finances in the galaxy and the banking clan in general. I know I threw a lot of large words at everybody, but I hope you guys enjoyed this regardless.
It was okay.
Yeah, yeah, I generally wish there was more lore on the banking clan. But yeah, for the next episode, it will be another Patreon related episode. So I'm looking forward to what you guys vote for in the Discord, or at least the Patreons vote for in the Discord.
Cool. I guess doing it one episode normal topic and one episode Discord topic?
Yes, that's the current format at least.
Cool.
But yeah, hope you guys had a wonderful May the 4th, and yeah, I'm looking forward to Acolyte and and the new series that come out.
I'm so excited to see Tales of the Empire.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too.
Also, Why Wolves, don't you fucking dare spoil again. We already got you once.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be much appreciated, Mr. White Wolves. We know who you are. Um, but yeah, got any closing statements for the audience, Hannah?
Happy May the 4th.
Happy May the 4th, and
Tomorrow's Revenge of the 5th.
yeah, looking forward to Revenge of the Sith. This is the way, and have a
Revenge
good.
of the Fifth. 5, get it?
Yes, I know, Hannah. But yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye bye.